Right on it.
Right on it.
No, I don't agree.
Over focus on it.
Yeah. Well, none of this is usable, so let's start again.
Let's start soon.
All right, another episode, Musashi R&D Sessions. We should change it to R&D and H.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Well, Mark's gone now.
Yeah.
The good-looking dumb guy. If you're watching, we don't think that,
Yeah.
but
The jiu-jitsu prodigy. Let's call him
the
that.
prodigy.
Yeah.
Good luck to you, Mark. But yes, there's a member down at the moment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But Hal, you're
Who's
basically
next?
the size of two people, so you make up
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Just have to double up.
What are we talking about today? Everyone's favorite topic is always fat loss. I want to lose fat. I want to get shredded, right? So
Interesting topic. Not for everybody. Not everybody's looking to shred, but
most people want to get fairly
once a year
lean,
you
eh?
kind of get, you eat too much, and maybe it's time to look for some abs.
Or
As
you
the sun
tear your
comes out.
bicep, you can't train, and then
Well, actually, I'm
back.
I'm bulking
Oh,
a little bit,
right.
because you have to build muscle, so
Yep.
you have to sacrifice some body weight just to get the bicep back.
Yeah, fair call.
Yeah.
But it is a on trend topic. Heaps of people ask us submit questions around losing body fat, getting shredded. We do have a range of products. I guess today we wanted to discuss the difference between sort of fat metabolism and fat burning. So thermogenics versus metabolism.
And how does that fit into the bigger picture of fat loss?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we previously talked about the different methods to kind of lose weight, lose fat. Lots of ways to do it, but the underlying stuff underneath it, these terms, fat burning, fat metabolism, fat loss, can be pretty confusing.
So like if you look at it from a diet perspective, it's calories in versus calories out. Then there are other ways to get your body functioning and certain organs functioning in a way that you are actually metabolizing fat more efficiently.
Yep.
And then there's other products that you can take that actually increase like core body temperature, and you're expending more energy because you're basically hotter.
Yeah. And there's another thing that plays into this fat loss equation, and that's fat storage, right? So your body's constantly switching between fat burning and fat storage, and that balance of the two is whether you're going to gain fat or lose fat. All right, so fat burning is not necessarily the same as fat loss, because fat loss is the net of that equation. So when do you know if you're burning fat? When do you know if you're losing fat? Well, this comes down to your diet, right? Like, we've always talked about. You can't break the golden rule, calories in, calories out. That outweighs everything, despite some popular new fad diets, the myths out there that calories don't matter, calories always matter, right? So let's look at two extreme examples, right?
Okay.
So a low-fat, high-carb diet versus a high-fat, low-carb diet.
So let's say like keto versus
High carb.
high carb, low fat.
Yeah.
Yep.
So on keto, right? Everybody's heard this. You're going to significantly increase the rate of fat burning.
Fat burning.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because your body's primarily getting
Fat as its main source of fuel or energy.
exactly. So
Yep. So your body is actually over time going to become more efficient at utilizing fat for energy, and that does take a while, doesn't it?
But
There's
is
an adaptation
Yep.
period where it does take a while for your body to become more efficient at burning fat.
So it's what, high fat burning, but is that relative to fat storage as well?
Well, that's where I think, yeah.
yeah, exactly. And on the opposite diet, a high carb diet, you're going to actually reduce your fat burning, right? Because you're going to have so much carbs and glucose available in your bloodstream that you don't need to rely on fat as an energy source, right? You've got so much energy, you don't need to burn fat, which is essentially converting into energy, which we'll talk about in a second.
Would you say those two, so high fat compared to high carb, would you say one is more appropriate than the other for different lifestyles? Like I would imagine that a high carb diet is more suited to someone who's doing more cardiovascular activity, so more a high level athlete.
Well, I think we're not going to talk about it in the context of performance now, but just talking about fat loss. Because high fat is better for fat burning, many people think it's better for fat loss. But this is only one side of the equation, right?
Which that does not pass the common sense check.
Why?
That consuming a high fat diet is better for fat loss.
Yeah.
If you think about it, that does not check out.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I think a lot of people are reluctant to sort of use that diet for fat loss techniques. I think they think, well, if I'm ingesting more fat, how am I going to lose fat? But it's like, I don't know, the old sort of fire analogy for the fire to burn more effectively and more efficiently, you're actually adding more logs to the fire. So if you look at that from your body perspective, for your body to become more efficient at utilizing fat as an energy source, you're adding more fat to the fire. So it becomes almost trained to use fat more efficiently as an energy source. And you talk about endurance athletes, a lot more endurance athletes are actually using both methods these days. So when they're training for an event or whatever, they're primarily using fat as an energy source to supplement their training. And then for the actual event itself, they will use carbohydrates as the energy source. And then the uptake of carbohydrates, your body's ability to utilize those carbohydrates is actually more well received by the body as well, because you've sort of been depriving yourself of carbohydrates for so long.
Yeah.
So you can use mixed methods. We're not saying one's better than the other, but for fat loss is what we're talking about today, rather than sort of performance. There's several different things you can do, and several different products you can use.
Yeah, exactly. And, thinking back to that equation, fat storage and fat burning, right? Like that's what's going to determine fat loss. So like, where we left this high fat versus high carb, high fat does have higher fat burning, but it also has higher fat storage, right? Like that's where, often people will figure out, like get confused. Why am I not burning fat? I've read, all the science that high fat diet's so good for fat burning. But, ultimately, when you overfeed, when you have too many calories in your diet, you're going to store some fat on your body anyway. So
Yeah, it still comes down to that fundamental for calories in versus calories out. So if you're choosing fat as your main source of fuel over carbohydrates, you still need to stick to your calorie deficit or under your,
Does anyone call that Kiko?
Why? What's Kiko?
Calories in, calories out?
People do say that.
Like FIFO, first in, first out?
I guess nerds say it like you, but no.
Well, actually.
So, okay, couple of different questions we get. What is a thermogenic, and what is a thermogenic as in a thermogenic supplement, and what is a fat metabolizing supplement?
Yeah, so, thinking back to that equation, right? There's a lot of different ways you can actually, affect your calorie. Well, there's two equations, right? Fat storage versus fat burning, and calories in versus calories out. So a thermogenic is going to increase your body temperature, increase, even your movement, non-exercise movement, right? Like caffeine kind of gives you a bit of a shaking leg sometimes, if you think about it. And all of this is going to increase your calories out, right? So
increasing your movement and body temperature. So what sort of ingredients are mainly responsible for doing that?
Well, the ultimate thermogenic is caffeine, right? Sometimes I drink a cup of coffee and my bald head sweats. Another popular ingredient is caspacin, which is the active ingredient in chilies.
Yep.
Right? So, if you're eating spicy food and drinking coffee all the time, you're going to be pretty thermogenic most of the time.
I've tried a few of those supplements over the years, and
Your poor toilet.
And then a fat metabolism style product. What are how does that work, and what are the main ingredients for those styles of products?
So fat metabolism involves breaking down triglycerides into fatty acids and glycerol, right? So,
So utilizing your own body fat
Yep.
as an energy source.
So you've got stored fat, which is stored as triglycerides. Your body needs to break down the stored fat into something that it can be used for energy, right? So fatty acids, glycerol, these things can be used by your energy systems and converted to energy. If you don't metabolize your fat correctly, your stored fat, you're not really, accessing it to burn it. However, glucose or carbohydrates is your primary energy source. So, you're always going to go to glucose first before you use fat as an energy source. Also depends on the type of exercise that you're doing. So,
once you've sort of burn off all that stored carbohydrates, that's when your body will start to sort of switch over or start to utilize your own body fat stores.
Exactly. Or, if you're doing certain types of low intensity exercise, you might access your...
Both or...
Yeah, it might access both. It's like you're constantly shifting between energy systems and energy sources within your body, depending on the type of exercise you do.
Almost like a petrol and electric car combo. What do they call those? The hybrid cars.
The hybrid car, yeah.
They switch over.
Well, you got a third energy system as well. I don't know what the...
Yeah.
Tribrid.
Yeah. Maybe if that car had gas as well.
Yeah.
Gas, electric and petrol.
Yeah.
So, look, common sense to me says if you do still have a fair bit of stored body fat...
Why'd you gesture at me?
Oh, no. Yeah, actually, I don't know why. I did look at you.
Dick.
But if you do still have quite a bit of stored body fat, maybe calories in, calories out as first and foremost, and then fat metabolism style of products. Whereas if you're a fairly lean person...
Now
you're
you
not
can gesture at me. Now you can gesture at me.
Now, if you're a fairly lean person, maybe fat metabolism products might not be as effective as like a thermogenic style product because you don't have as much fat stores to tap into. Is that logical or not?
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. But
That's
remember,
interesting.
it depends on what you're doing, right, and what you're eating. Probably more so than your current body type, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, the two equations, always remember them: calories in, calories out, and then fat loss, which is fat storage minus fat burning.
Right.
Thermogenics increase your calories out. Fat metabolizers increase your fat burned.
So, what are some good fat metabolizing ingredients?
Well,
If only we could find some.
Oh,
well, look at what we've got right here in front of us.
Fuck, where did that come from?
So
we don't talk product much, but we get this question so much. So we might as well drag some product in and talk about it.
yeah, and this little product here, Fat Metabolizer with carnitine, it's got so many reviews online of people finding good success and burning some fat, metabolizing some fat, should I say?
Yeah.
But yeah, carnitine is one of our most popular fat metabolizing ingredients out there. It's really pretty important in transporting.
It's great for performance too. Like I'll typically, because we do the regular carnitine capsules as well. I'll have them before playing sport, and I genuinely notice a difference. Yeah,
carnitine is really good for giving you some energy as well, right? You're tapping into those fat stores, releasing them for energy, right?
Yeah.
So it's.
I notice it in the fourth quarter if I don't have it. If for whatever reason I don't get it in, then my last quarter in basketball, I'm so much more gassed than I would be otherwise.
Yeah, there's actually some carnitine in our pre-workout also, right? So it's popular in quite a few products. Some other important ingredients: choline and inositol.
And they work on what? Liver function, right?
They work on liver function, but basically your membranes, of your cells, right? These phospholipid membrane, they're actually made up of choline and inositol. So, they're really important how your body metabolizes them to transport things across these membranes, right?
Yep.
So metabolism and transport of fat, it's pretty important.
So this is a combination of the choline, inositol, carnitine.
And another amino acid in there as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is a metabolizer.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then we've got Shred Matrix, which is kind of a combination of fat burners and fat metabolizers, right?
Ooh, the ultimate 2-in-1.
The ultimate 2-in-1. So carnitine, inositol, tyrosine, B vitamins, and it's got green tea in there, which is a good source of some fat burning ingredients.
Yeah. When would you use these, like these two? Does it matter? I know most people use them pre-exercise, right? Half hour, an hour before.
That's when I do.
But does it matter when you use them?
I think for fat metabolizing caps in particular, you can kind of have that throughout the day.
Yep.
You don't really want to be taking thermogenic stuff too late in the day because that's going to keep you up at night, right? Most of them are stimulants and often have some caffeine in there.
Which is why there is like almost a performance benefit having it before exercise then.
Yeah, exactly. And, fat loss is pretty important to get a good night's sleep. So you don't want to counteract a good night's sleep by having too much caffeine.
Yeah, bad night's sleep, cortisol production, that's the worst thing for fat loss, right?
Exactly.
The other product we've got here is the Shred and Burn protein. So this is primarily a protein recovery style product, but there are some ingredients in there as well that help with it's a thermogenic complex, and there's also some fat metabolizing ingredients in this as well, right?
Yeah, we've got a green coffee extract and some carnitine in there. A bit lower doses than some of the other products, just so you can have it every day, but that's what gives it that fat metabolizing, fat burning edge compared to some of our other protein powders out there.
Fair warning that protein powder does have the amount of caffeine equivalent to a large coffee. So if you're having that too late at night, you might notice a lack of sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a pretty good thermogenic though. I like shred and burn protein in the morning. It's a good breakfast smoothie.
It is also
Good
arguably
kickstart.
one of our best tasting protein powders for whatever reason. That stuff is delicious.
Usually I'm a chocolate guy.
I love the chocolate.
But shred and burn vanilla for me is my favorite vanilla.
Really?
It's the only one where I pick the vanilla over chocolate.
Yeah.
Dude, I love the chocolate.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It tastes better than the rest of our range. I can't tell you why. In my opinion. Disclaimer.
Well, taste is subjective.
I'm like, I'll drink whatever. If it's good, I'll drink it.
Yeah.
Not fussy on flavors, but they are good flavors. But yeah, that's cleared up a couple of the questions we have. Like, yeah, what is the difference between fat metabolism and fat?
Do you want to spell that out then? What kind of person would a metabolizer be more suitable for, and what kind of person would a thermogenic be suitable for? And speak to the type of exercise and the type of their diet.
Well, thermogenics are going to help this, calories out equation like we talked about, but they're not for everybody. Mm-hmm. Not everybody likes caffeine. Not everybody likes chilies, stimulants, and things that make you literally hot, right? Because that's what a thermogenic does. It elevates your body temperature. It's probably not suitable for everybody at every time. Mm-hmm. So, but it is effective, right? Mm-hmm. Fat metabolizer, on the other hand, can pretty much be used by anybody, any time of the day. It's gonna, help that fat loss equation, which is fat storage versus fat burning, and give you that extra edge, once you get your diet and things under control.
And then they'd be fairly, like, you could use those ongoing, right? Like fat metabolizing product, and maybe introduce a thermogenic when you hit some plateaus, weight loss plateaus or something as an extra kick.
Exactly. So thermogenics is going to affect that first equation, calories in, calories out, but a fat metabolizer is not really going to affect that. It's not really going to help you burn more calories. But once you're in a calorie deficit, it's really going to, kick in and help you access your stored fat and convert that into energy.
So if you are you able to differentiate between, let's say I have two different people. Person A is, plays a lot of sport, high carb diet, lots of cardiovascular exercise. Person B, maybe most of their exercise is in the gym, and they have a higher fat and higher protein content in their diet. Would you say thermogenic is more suitable for one than the other, or does it really just come down to body temperature preference?
I'm not a fan of thermogenic. I run hot all the time, so if I was to have those, I'd be like, it'd be ridiculous.
It's really personal preference, like you might not necessarily want to be too hot if you're, performing in the sun all day. So thermogenic or, lots of caffeine might not necessarily be the best thing.
I think the way you can probably look at it is like your fat metabolizers are actually going to be better for sports people.
Yeah.
Because there's this
that's probably a good way to put
energy component, whereas a thermogenic is probably more widely used by bodybuilders.
Okay. Yeah.
The last thing you want before you go into a sport is like, you want to be warmed up, but you don't want to be to the point where you're over, like,
and
hot.
You don't want the jitters,
hot. Yeah, too hot or the jitters. So sports people, fat metabolizers, bodybuilders, thermogenics.
Good way to break it down. Yeah.
And bodybuilders are more like, they're used to like caffeine style products anyway, right?
A bit more hardcore.
Yeah. But I think hopefully that summarized it nicely.
That's a good answer. That's the answer I was looking for. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, good. So that means that's the end of the podcast.
We're done. Goodbye. Thank you.
I noticed you're wearing your maroon jersey today. Is this in celebration of last night's win for the Queensland team?
This is it's topical.
Oh, you're
on the shred red.
Shred system.
Yeah, mate.
For those don't know, actually, all of our products sit in under 4 systems: shred, bulk, fuel, and recover, and they're self-explanatory. But they're all color coded differently. So
that's why they're in different colors.
Make it a bit easier, when you're stuck in the shop but nobody to talk to you. Just helps you navigate it.
Yeah, by goal. You want more energy, go to the fuel system. You want to recover, go to the recovery system. It's pretty easy.
You got a bit personal just then, didn't you? No one wants to talk to you.
Yeah.
Has Miyamoto Musashi...
when you're thermogenic and sweating and
when you're standing in Coles of Woolies just dripping with sweat in the middle of winter.
During... has to walk to the office in summer. Has to bring a towel with him.
A small towel.
Microfiber towel. Don't we all though?
Oh, I'm so bad. In summer, honestly, like I will just sweat sitting down in unair-conditioned room is disgusting.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that with millions of listeners that we have.
Or millions.
Yeah. Has Miyamoto Musashi got any quotes around
He does.
thermogenics and
All
fat
right.
burning?
I found one.
Oh, he did not.
I did. It is.
Okay.
Okay, you ready
Such
for
a
it?
reach.
Okay.
Such a reach.
Remember we used to have the music for the
Yeah.
quotes?
Oh, yeah,
We
that
should
was
bring
good.
that back.
We should bring that back.
Yeah.
Okay. Miyamoto Musashi quote is, "Do not collect weapons or practice with weapons beyond what is useful."
That's a fucking reach, and you know.
That is a good one.
No,
That is
it's
spot
good,
on,
it's
Darren.
good.
You're
You know,
right.
like an ancient samurai in the day, if you're, you might not necessarily ever need to use a, the old,
What is it?
the old ball on the chain, as a weapon. Like that's probably the last weapon you need in your arsenal.
Yes.
Just like, some of these other gimmicky products out there on the market are the
Yeah.
last thing you need on your fat loss journey, right?
I agree.
As long as
Keep it simple with proven ingredients.
Yeah,
is
keep
what
it
it's
simple.
basically saying.
That I like that. I don't know where the hell you were going. You were saying what I get from that is like, oh, I'm just going to exercise. I don't need any of this stuff.
No. You still need weapons, just the right weapons.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
don't be fooled by these other more exotic style weapons
Yeah.
that might not work as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go for what's tried and tested, and
I-
things like ingredients like carnitine and caffeine, and
I
Yeah.
will say that Tread Matrix and the carnitine capsules, I think they're great.
you love that combo, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. You do struggle keeping your weight down though.
I like to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't we all? On that note,
That's it.
that's it. Until next time. Thanks everyone.
Musashi out.
Out.
Stay red.